Okay, I'm unmuted. Might as well start with SCP-3008, right? Yeah, so let's pull up SCP-3008. I'm gonna just real quickly hop into doing like some Destiny chores, weeklies and such and so on. Okay, hold on. Ooh, that's too tight. Trying to figure out how best to wear this headset. It doesn't like to work well with glasses, it doesn't seem.
Let's get started.
Sure, Ava, whatever.
Nice. Good luck, Guardian.
Yes. Transferred. Bye.
Good, you're back.
Good, you're back. Ah, Guardian. Whether we wanted to or not, taking bosses are kills. I can do Arc. Arc's pretty simple. Not quite the role I was hoping for. Also, I think I have a full set saved up for those. Come on. Distant Tumulus is 1. Although I don't think it has the best stuff. It has some okay things. But that was a shit roll of it. So never mind. We're gonna be hanging out on the moon while we do some readings. Potentially doing some patrols, but honestly just hanging out. The primary reason I'm picking up Destiny is just because there's some not ample but enough downtime and stuff that I can do like readings and just otherwise find a spot to chill. Like if I wanted to just pick a spot on the moon and do a dramatic reading, like I think being able to do something kind of quick and then hopping back into it and then so on and so forth, I think that would be a good way to sort of do this. Right now we're just sort of starting off with refunding a bunch of these Vanguard tokens that I have. The primary thing that I'm gonna be doing this stream is dramatic readings, to be clear. But first off I'm just sort of winding up, if you will, like getting into the streamer energy sort of thing. Because it's already been a day for me. My fucking dog. Just give me the sniper, my guy. Please? What the fuck? Scout rifle. I hate subsistence. It's just not good enough for me. At least I'm getting plenty of... Well, actually, I kinda am getting too many gunsmith materials at this point. Kinda sucks that we have to stare at Zavala's face, I will say that. Because no one likes Zavala. I wouldn't be surprised if they made Zavala a bad guy in a coming season. Especially not after the Vidoc, where he's like cohorting with a bunch of Cabal for some reason. Like, are we gonna get Cabal allies before we get Fallen? Are we gonna get a Cabal alliance before we get a Fallen alliance? I'm gonna be mad. Like, if we get a Cabal alliance before a Fallen alliance, they had their chance. Come on, my guy, just give me the sniper rifle. Hold on, where's the... Yeah, Long Shadow. There should be like a version of it that would actually be good. I'm just hoping to get one. But it doesn't seem to be happening because I super am not getting one. Just getting really shit stuff. A truth teller. Feeding frenzy, demolitionist, blinding grenades. That's not too bad. Hey, Absol. That's a me. Oh my god. I had 1,000 of these Vanguard tokens and it's not gonna be enough. How many of the ritual weapons do I have? I think all of them except for the Crucible ones, because you cannot force me to do, because no one will ever be able to force me to do Crucible ever. Also, I don't care about, like, I don't care about them. Like, I just really do not want to do Crucible, period. I do have Breakneck, yes. I do have Breakneck. I also have the bow, I have the grenade, the Vanguard grenade launcher that was meta for because it's broken.
Goodbye.
It's supposed to, like, shoot faster as the rampage goes up. Like, as you get more rampage, it's supposed to shoot faster and also reload faster, but the damage on Breakneck is broken, and so is, I think, also the fire rate might be.
I am at
It's
your
just
service.
as good as it was to start with, it kind of got busted and not as good. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I haven't used it in a while. I'm really gonna use up all of these Vanguard tokens and not get the thing that I want, huh? Finally, a single Long Shadow. What's the roll? Firmly planted and outlaw. That is ass. That is complete ass. I don't care about this armor set. I'm just gonna scrap it. Hey, Nap. We are wounding up. We are winding up. And then I'm gonna read, and then we're gonna be doing some SCP dramatic readings. Look at this. Look at this. It's so broken. I'm not gonna use it. It'd be a waste of 7 fusion cores. Spooky month. A Last Hope, that's fun. Vigil of Heroes. Stop giving me the armor, please. Oh my god, just stop with the armor. Distant Tumulus. Something that maybe I'll use depending on the roll. I'll keep it. Lead from Golden Firing Line? Not the best, but it works. That is a perfectly fine roll of Distant Tumulus. Let's go put those in the vault. So, a new Vidoc came out today, talking about season of the Hunt, which is next season.
Greetings.
It's gonna be Beyond Light and Season of the Hunt. 69, nice. Oh my god. Game, just give me the thing that I want. None of this is what I want. Okay. Long Shadow Destiny 2. Light.gg. Random rolls. It can roll with Field Prep, Triple Tap. That's basically the only one, but I want it. I want Field Prep and Triple Tap, please. Please, God, just give me a Long Shadow with Triple Tap and Field Prep, just so that I can have a good kinetic sniper rifle. Please, God. This is my hunter. I've got a pretty sick shader on my armor. Very nice purple blue, kinda. It's fun.
Wherever a guardian stands.
Oh.
Hey, Guardian. Live to see the darkness return.
Warlock just passed out right from the beginning. Shouted something, then bam.
Whoop. Is Revoker good? Not in a PvP stance, but like a PvE. Is it good in PvE? I don't think so. Like, it's good if you miss, but so it encourages like quick shots and stuff, like being aggressive with a sniper. But that's specifically like in PvP. And I don't play PvP.
Is that what you sell to the Guardian? Where else are you gonna go, right?
How much is that gonna cost?
Yeah, I get that it's a good. I get that it's like a value. Like I have died enough times to it. I know it's a good weapon, but not good enough.
I don't believe this.
How much is that gonna cost? You won't regret it.
What can the supremacy roll with? Hold on. I know I'm wasting time instead of actually doing the thing that I said that I would do.
Okay, come on, come on.
Everything costs more ever since the... How much is that gonna cost?
Ugh.
Triple tap. Snapshot, Outlaw.
I just need something that'll work. I don't care how it looks.
The fleet
So it has
lost
triple tap at least.
reason to say
That's something.
Wake up. Human.
I would love a road nep.
Listen to me.
I would adore a road right about now.
How much is that?
Okay, come on, come on.
Everything costs more ever since the tower fell. If you can get me a discount, I'll put in a good word for you with New Monarchy. I just need something that'll work. I don't care how it looks.
Time for a break.
They're expensive.
Okay, not all at once.
Rattlesnake hammock.
You can get me a discount, I'll put
Now
in
that can be two things. That could be multiple things.
Dead Orbit won't see things through.
Two
They'll
things.
run when it gets
Uh,
serious. If you can get me a
it could
discount, I'll
be
put in a good word for you with New Monarchy.
either a good road that like
Someday we'll go back to being a
there's a method to my madness, I promise. That could be a that could be a road where a lot of people like to put up hammocks and let their rattlesnakes sunbathe. Like just a comfy place for rattlesnakes to be, you know? Although rattlesnakes might not want to be in a hammock. But still, you know, it's the thought that counts. Like
generations,
like
the
a
Dream
fun
City housed
hammock
one of the
place
Awoken's most
for
closely
rattlesnakes.
guarded secrets.
or
She is known as Riven.
in a
Riven of
very,
1,000
like-
voices, the last known Ahamkara. She has been taken.
in a very
And her
like
death is
southern
your calling.
route, in a much more mean to the rattlesnake route, it could be hammocks made out of rattlesnake, which would look kind of cool, but I don't think would be comfy, and on a hot day you would get stuck to that hammock really badly. I think both are a little bit cursed, and I like that. This is a good road name. Thank you, Nep. I appreciate you. And yeah, Absol, it is only 600 sniper rifle kills. And it's 600 more than I'm ever gonna get. Because I don't do sniper rifles in Crucible, and I don't play Crucible. It's also more than that, because I think pretty much all of them involve playing...
Here, Brother Slayer, Spawn Killer. All that strength and you're still nothing but a retainer to the Awoken Queen. You could be so much more. All you need do is wish it.
This sounds like Uldren.
I would quite like to meet you.
Or is that Riven or is that actually Riven? I couldn't place that voice very well. But thank you again for the road name, Nep. That's a good road name. I appreciate it. What did my friend send me over Discord? It's like a link to a YouTube video. Google Translate things, never gonna give you up. I apologize to everyone because I promised dramatic readings and I have the page. I promise I'm going to do dramatic reading stuff, but not yet. Nah, he sent me a video of a Google Translate Rickroll. Like Rickroll put through like a bunch of translation problems. But like I'll watch it later. Can I do this from memory? Almost certainly not. The wish wall is fine. It's a fun mechanic. Also, I can just look it up if I need to. But I'm trying to see if I remember it if I can do it from memory. No, wait. Shit, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. Wish Wall Destiny 2. At least this one I can recognize from memory. Yep. Okay. Yeah, okay. I can remember that. Ahem. Marco Styles. What? There we go. Double check. Got it. Ah, shit. I wasn't paying attention. I don't know what you're referencing. He used to make videos titled The Worst Raid Team, where he would beat the raid with his friends but bully one of them endlessly, and one of the things he did was shoot the wish wall with Mountaintop. Ah! So he's an asshole. Okay. Okay. That does remind me though, and I figured out how to utterly break the wish wall. You will see. I fucked that up. I can't do it on this character, but you will see, I promise. Wish for one snack of ammo. Wish for one snack. Which wall is broken is too small. We're almost done. It takes a little while. We're almost done. Love the baby, keep the baby. Ah! Hello, Riven! Another day, another raid team, am I right? Fuck this button in particular. No, I fucked up. Oh god, my sound is fucking up. 1 second. Okay, back in. Fuck this. We're leaving. Absol, can you do it without... Can you do it safely and without too much expense to yourself? Because if so, yes. Controller. Also get some water. Ah, my head. There's $70. That's a lot of money for shoes, I feel like. I have not bought shoes in a little while. I feel like that's a lot of money for shoes just because they look like the trans flag. Is it specifically like the Converse company that you're buying them from, or is it like... Cause that's pretty average for shoes? Okay. Well, that's one thing. Also, just bear with me, I'm showing you how to utterly destroy the wish wall. It's so funny to me.
For generations, the Dreaming City housed one of
I mean,
the
I have
Awaken's
shopped
most
for
closely guarded
sports
secrets.
cleats, but like
She is known as Riven.
a
Riven
long
of a
time
thousand
ago,
voices.
because I didn't do sports
last
all through
known
college and
Ahamkara.
through most of high school,
She has been taken.
so I had
And her
forgotten
death is your calling.
everything. And I've had like the shoes that I've worn for a pretty long time, and I've not really looked at prices. So like, okay, I get, okay, so it's average price for shoes. I mean, I guess go for it. Love yourself. I think those would be pretty stylish shoes. I think that they would be pretty stylish shoes then. I think that they would be pretty good shoes. Also, oh, it's Zavala now.
Spawn killer. All that strength, and you're still nothing but a retainer to the Awoken Queen.
I do not sit on the queen's upper mouth. I am not a retainer.
Please wish it. Come. I would quite like to meet you.
Also, check out my Titan. I like my Titan. My Titan has a good fashion sense right now. So does my Hunter. My Warlock is okay too. I was very excited about the it's not actually Zavala, it's Riven. But I think it's really cool that Riven is voiced by like everybody in the game. It's kind of fun. Everybody except for Drifter and the Drifter and Failsafe, but that's for a different reason. You know what's great is that I do that joke all the time where I pretend to be stupid. I do the joke that you just did. I do that all the time. But I still feel the need to be like but I still take it way too literally when someone else does it. I don't know why. Okay. Here is how to break the wish wall. This can go for basically ad infinitum. Wall machine broke. Yeah, the new Warlock gloves actually might do this too. Okay, that's enough of that. Alright. I'm gonna send my Titan to the tower, and now, finally, almost an hour into the stupid stream, we're going to read an SCP article. I'm so sorry that it took so long. I am so bad at keeping myself focused. We're gonna read it. We're gonna read an SCP article. Are you ready, everybody? Are you ready for this for an SCP article? I have forgotten what most of the numbers I have selected are. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to SCP. The SCP we're going to be reading is SCP-3008. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. The retail park containing SCP-3008 has been purchased by the Foundation and converted into Site Redacted. All public roads leading to or passing by Site Redacted have been redirected. The entrance to SCP-3008 is to be monitored at all times, and no one is to enter SCP-3008 outside of testing as permitted by the senior researcher. Humans exiting 3008 are to be detained and then debriefed prior to the administration of amnestics, dependent upon the duration of their stay in SCP-3008. A cover story may need to be generated prior to their release. Any other entities exiting 3008 are to be terminated.
I could get you another if you like. Good luck, Guardian.
Description: SCP-3008 is a large retail unit previously owned and branded as IKEA, a popular furniture retail chain. A person entering SCP-3008 through the main entrance and then passing out of sight of the doors will be to SCP-3008-1. This displacement will typically go unnoticed as no change will occur from the perspective of the victim. They will generally not become aware until they try to return to the entrance. SCP-3008-1 is a space resembling the inside of an IKEA furniture store, extending far beyond the limits of what could physically be contained within the dimensions of the retail unit. Current measurements indicate an area of at least 10 kilometers squared with no visible external terminators detected in any direction. Inconclusive results from the use of laser range finders has led to the speculation that the space might be infinite.
Be the one who moves, not the one who is.
SCP-3008-1 is inhabited by an unknown number of civilians trapped within prior to containment. Gathered data suggests that they have formed a rudimentary civilization within SCP-3008-1, including the construction of settlements and fortifications for the purpose of defending against SCP-3008-2. SCP-3008-2 are humanoid entities that exist within SCP-3008-1. While superficially resembling humans, they possess exaggerated and inconsistent bodily proportions, often described as being too short or too tall. They possess no facial features and in all observed cases wear a yellow shirt and blue trousers consistent with the IKEA employee uniform. SCP-3008-1 has a rudimentary day-night cycle determined by the overhead lighting within the space activating and deactivating at times consistent with the opening and closing times of the original retail store. During the night instances of SCP-3008 During the quote-unquote night, instances of SCP-3008-2 will become violent towards all other lifeforms within SCP-3008-1. During these bouts of violence, they have been heard to vocalize phrases in English that are typically variations of, "The store is now closed. Please exit the building." Once day begins SCP-3008-2, instances immediately become passive and begin moving throughout SCP-3008-1, seemingly at random. They are unresponsive to questioning and or other verbal cues in this state, though will react violently if they are attacked.
Expressions won't win a fight, but they feel good. And feeling good is better than not. Eververse has the goods.
SCP is known to have one or more exits located within, though these exits do not appear to have a fixed position, making it difficult to leave SCP-3008-1 once you are inside. Using any other doors besides the main entrance to enter the structure or breaking through the walls of the retail unit leads into a non-anomalous interior of the original store. Since containment began, 14 individuals have managed to exit 3008. Following extensive debriefing, all individuals have been administered amnestics and released. Incident 3008-1. At 0000 hours 37 minutes on redacted 2000 and redacted, a human male exited SCP-3008, followed by 10 seconds later by an instance of 3008-2. SCP-3008-2 caught and killed the man before itself terminated by armed response personnel. This incident represents the only time an instance of SCP-3008-2 has been seen exiting SCP-3008. A full autopsy of the corpse was performed. See FCC-3008-2 autopsy log for more details. There was a man carrying an IKEA branded journal seeming to document his name in SCP-3008-1. Transcribed below verbatim. I will proceed to read that next transcript of a man's experience within SCP-3008. But first, as Nep said, take a drink. Holy shit. Also, we're on the moon because it's spooky.
Welcome, my friend.
Fuck that.
May it prepare you. May it prepare you.
Eris portal closed. Sorry.
Don't die.
I can go to exactly where the Eris portal lets up, because I know exactly where to go. I know where to go to like... Because the thing about the Eris portal is you can travel to that area. Like the portal is fun and all, but you can just go there. One second.
Is anyone there?
Spooky Moon portal is good. Gotta love the Spooky Moon portal, you know? Just really good Spooky Moon portal. Loading, loading, loading. I love the moon. The moon is such a good location in both the Destinies. So many loading screens, though. Go. The moon's haunted. This is a good place. Let's continue, shall we? What follows is a transcription of the journal recovered in Incident SCP-3008-1. So, I'm writing this to document what I can only assume is my sudden descent into insanity. I can't possibly be that bad of a navigator, and yet as I write this, I've been trapped in an IKEA for 2 days. I haven't seen another person in the entire time I've been here. I thought it was a prank at first. Turn the place into a maze, get all the people out, and see how long it takes for me to get lost. Then everyone has a good laugh. Realized that that wasn't the case when I tried to backtrack. Everything had changed, so I ended up lost. Instead of the exit, I was just row after row of bookcases. So I'm trapped in the IKEA. Sounds like a setup for a bad joke. The lights went out at 10 p.m., nearly gave me a fucking heart attack. The loud electrical thunk sound and then pitch blackness. Place is full of beds though, and my phone has a torch on it. But no damn signal. So I found a bed and went to sleep. Spent most of the next day trying to find my way out, with no luck. Did find a restaurant serving those meatballs though, so at least I won't starve. That's probably the punchline to that joke. Anyway, they were still warm and fresh, but I haven't seen anyone around who could have cooked them. Made my way back to the beds before the lights cut out again, since it's too dark to search with them off. Oh, the lights came back on a little while ago. I'm sure I've searched the entire area around where I came in now, and the exit obviously isn't here, so I'm going to pick a direction and hope for the best. Day 3 of my magical IKEA mystery adventure. If I wasn't sure that there was something seriously weird about this place before, I am now. Walked for 3 hours in a more or less straight line, insert IKEA joke here, before I came across a ladder next to one of those huge stock shelves they have here. Climbed up to get my bearings, and it looks like this place just stretches on forever. Like that scene from The Lion King, except instead of trees and grass and all, it was all shelves and tables and crap. I did see a person moving not too far away though, so I headed over. Thought it was a staff member at first. It was wearing the uniform, and hell, maybe it was. Maybe freakish 7-foot tall monsters are with long arms, short legs, and no faces are just the kinds of things they want working at Super IKEA. Damn thing completely ignored me though, and with no eyes or ears, I can't even be sure it knew I was there. Thought about shoving it or something to get its attention, but its hands were big enough to crush a watermelon, so I decided against it. It just kept moving along, and eventually I lost sight of it, so I decided to carry on the way I was going. Anyway, no comfy bed for me tonight. Looks like I've entered the improbably hard and pointy table section of the store. Guess I'll have to make do with some bunched up tablecloths. Phone battery died during the day too. Didn't work anyway, but I feel like I've lost some vital lifeline. You ever see one of those cartoons where they're going through the doors in a hallway and they just pop out of another door in the same hallway? That's how I feel right now. I've seen nothing but the same identical bookshelf for 2 days. Just row after row after row of them. I mean, come on, I love books as much as the next guy, but this is excessive. I'm obviously still moving forwards, though. I can see the signs hanging overhead passing by. Too bad none of them say exit. Not sure who I was addressing the question to. Let's just say it was practice for the autobiography I'm going to write when I get out of here. I'll call it My Perfectly Normal Trip to a Regular Old IKEA. Gotta keep moving. Finally found some other people. Yeah, turns out I'm not the only poor bastard trapped in here. Lucky for me, I guess. My 6th night here, 2 of those staff things came at me in the dark. Different from the first one I saw, but still messed up. Heard them coming. They were saying that the store was closed and I had to leave the building. All nice and polite-like. I'm not sure which part of that was weirder, that they don't have mouths or that they were apparently trying to kill me while they were saying it. Came at me like rabid dogs. So I legged it. Sprinting through IKEA in the dark like a fucking madman. Saw it when I cleared another stand of those giant stock shelves, all lit up with torches and floodlights. They built a whole town in here. Got a massive wall built out of shelves and beds and tables and whatever else. I swear to God, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Anyway, I guess they saw me coming. Or maybe they heard my definitely manly bellows of fear. Because they had a gate open and 2 people were there waving me in. Heard the staff thing slam into the gate behind me after it closed. Still politely informing us all that the store was now closed. They wandered off eventually, though. They call this town Exchange because that's what the sign hanging from the ceiling up directly above it. Exchange in returns. All lit up against the night using lights they've found and plugged into the power lines. There are beds and food and people. Over 500 wonderful people with regular-sized limbs and a full set of facial features. It's now my 7th night here and the first one not spent in darkness. A full week living at IKEA. There's probably a TV show in that somehow. Now that I'm around other people, I'm starting to feel more normal. Maybe normal isn't the right word. But after a week with only the sound of my own footsteps for company, I was becoming increasingly sure I had just gone nuts. That I was tied up in some padded room somewhere, banging my head against the wall. But no, I feel quite sane now, thank you very much. Apparently there are other towns out there, some with more people, some with less. I found that fairly mind-boggling. How can that many people go missing with no one noticing? Surely someone would have noticed that everyone who goes to an IKEA seems to fucking vanish. Or maybe it's not everyone. Maybe we're just the lucky ones. The people here just call those staff monster things the staff. Apparently they were fine during the day, minding their own business, walking the aisles. As soon as those lights go out though, they're fucking bonkers. So during the day, people go out to find food, water, and whatever else they need. Apparently there are restaurants and shops around that randomly get restocked. No one knows how. Maybe the staff do it. Apparently they aren't very good at their jobs though, because the restocking sometimes takes a while, which means the food needs to be rationed. Maybe if they weren't so busy chasing people around in the dark, they'd get more done. Anyway, when night comes, the staff go nuts and everyone holds up inside the walls. Apparently it's the same everywhere in this place, wherever it takes. The Your IKEA from whence all other IKEA sprang. Or maybe we're all still just in the regular IKEA, and this is all some fever dream brought on by mind-numbing boredom. Who knows? Been here for 10 days now. Most of the people I asked said they stopped keeping track a long time ago, and one guy, Chris, said he'd been in here for years. Years. Apparently there are rumors of people who do manage to get out, and of people who see the exit only to have it vanish before their eyes. I get the feeling not everyone believes that, but I do. Explains how we got stuck in here in the first place, sort of. And I mean, come on, staff monsters, row after row of high-quality Swedish furniture. I don't know why they would find a disappearing door so hard to believe in. Anyway, I went out scavenging for food at a nearby shop with Sandra and Jerry today. Once you learn the landmarks of this place, it's not so hard to navigate. The overhead signs help a lot, but there are others. Not too far in the distance, a huge section of those giant stock shelves has collapsed against each other, and way off in the east, we all assume it's the east anyway, apparently IKEA doesn't sell compasses, is some kind of tower that looks like it's made of wood, reaches all the way to the ceiling. Maybe they were trying to break out through the roof. Lights up at night, so there must be people there, but it's apparently a few days' walk, which means it must be miles away. So no one here really knows for sure. Apparently I got incredibly lucky sleeping out in the open for a week without getting ripped to bits by the staff. That's me. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Found some food in the shop. Guess the staff restocked it during the night, which was nice of them. There was a telephone on the wall, so I figured I'd try it out. There was a voice on the other end, but they were just talking nonsense. Random words strung together with no real meaning. You ever see a video of someone with aphasia? Kind of sounded like that. Didn't answer me when I spoke to them anyway. Sandra says all the phones in here are all the same. Oops, asking journal questions again. I was thinking last night, the ceiling on this place is pretty high, and as far as anyone can tell, it goes on forever. Shouldn't there be some kind of weather in here? I'm sure I read about some NASA building that was so big it had its own weather patterns with clouds and stuff. This place is definitely bigger than that. But now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure I've never felt so much as a temperature change in here. I'll add it to the grand list of weird bullshit. The staff attacked the exchange last night. Must have been 20 or 30 of them all just asking us to leave the store as calm as you like while trying to smash the walls down with their bare hands. Apparently this happens pretty regularly, so everyone is prepared for it. Knives from the restaurants, lawnmower blades made into hatchets, a fire axe. One guy, Wasim, even made a functional crossbow. Anyway, walls have holes in them, which I hadn't noticed before, specifically so we can stab out the staff when they attack. Took a couple of them down myself. They don't seem to bleed, which is kind of weird, but they go down easy as a regular person once you start sticking holes in them. We had to haul the bodies away in the morning. Apparently the dead ones will attract more during the night, so we had to get them away from exchange. We had a couple of those trolley things they used to move big boxes around, so we loaded them up and took them over to pickup. Apparently people just name everything in here after whatever sign is hanging overhead. Pickup was grisly. There were hundreds, maybe thousands of dead staff all piled up. There was no smell, which was a blessing. Apparently, in addition to not bleeding, these things don't rot either. My curiosity got the better of me while we were unloading them, so I took a look at one of the more cut-up ones. They're just skin. Like something that looks like skin all the way through. No muscle, no bone, no organs. Are they even really alive in the first place? They certainly don't seem like they have bones when they're moving around, pounding on the walls. I'm sure I felt more resistance than just skin when the knife went in during the night. Maybe something happens to them when they die. Just one more thing on the ever-increasing list of weird shit that goes on in here, I guess. Something occurred to me after the staff attack the other night. Every time you see a situation like this on TV or in a film, it's like the end of the world and everyone is trapped on an island or whatever. Once groups like ours start to form, people always seem to turn on each other, fighting for food or dominance or whatever else. That hasn't happened here. Apparently people from other towns come by from time to time, just to check in or occasionally to trade if they are short on something. But everything is always cordial. Friendly, even. Maybe it's the threat of the staff, or perhaps the constant restocking of supplies in the shops means there's nothing much to fight over. Maybe people are just better than they're generally given credit for. That's a nice thought. I think I'll go with that one. A dozen people showed up at the gates this afternoon from a town called Trolleys. Apparently staff broke through the walls and tore the town apart during the night. These 12 are the only survivors out of over 100. We let them in, obviously. One more point in the human decency column. Later I asked if anyone knew how many of these towns were out there. Between us and the new folks, we managed to come up with over 20 names. 20 towns filled with people, and who knows how many beyond that. Motto for this place should be, how is that even possible? Surely someone, somewhere, must be looking for the thousands of people that must be in here. I've been in here for over 20 months now. Not that much has changed, as it turns out. Not that much changes, as it turns out. A couple of new people showed up, same story as the rest of us. Nice little trip to IKEA, and suddenly they're trapped in Billy's bookcase's house of faceless weirdos. The staff attack the exchange once or twice a week. We kill them and haul their bodies off. Sometimes they hurt some of us first. They killed a guy called Jared a couple weeks back. It was awful, frankly. Turns out regular humans still bleed in here, even if the staff don't. We tried our best, but none of us are doctors. Jared was a good guy. He deserved better. We all do. It occurred to me a couple days after that, none of us are really looking for a way out of here. I don't even know where we'd start. One of those quadcopter things with a camera attached buzzed past exchange today. I thought it meant that someone was finally looking for us, that help was on the way. Apparently it's not the first time this has happened though. Same thing happened a few months ago and everyone is still here. No idea if it saw us, it didn't stop if it did. Just kept flying until we could no longer see it. Note. Based on recovery time of the journal, this entry appears to line up approximately with our first successful test piloting a drone inside SCP-3008-1. Analysis of footage shows a walled settlement under a sign labeled Exchange and Returns. Attempts to relocate the settlement failed. Origin of previously sighted drones is unknown. I started talking to people about the stuff they miss from home during dinner today. Probably not the best idea I've ever had. Everyone seemed pretty down after. A bunch of people here have families, husbands and wives, kids, dogs. Franklin apparently has a pet llama, though I'm not sure I buy that. But apparently some of the people here have some seriously odd gaps in their knowledge. 3 of them never heard of the International Space Station. 2 of them seem to think redacted was the Prime Minister, and none of them had apparently ever heard of the Statue of Liberty. And one of them had apparently never heard of the Statue of Liberty. I believe them, too. They seemed just as confused as the rest of us. The more I thought about it, though, the more it started to explain a few things. What if the reason no one is looking for all of us missing people is because we haven't all come from the same place? This is going to sound weird. Maybe that should be the motto of this place, but what if all the people here have come from different dimensions, realities, whatever you call it? I've seen enough TV shows to know the drill. Sarah comes from a place where there's no Statue of Liberty. They didn't launch a space station where Wasim's from. If everyone here came from different places, even from ones that seem identical, there'd be no huge missing persons panic. No mass search. We'd just be a blip. A single missing person in a world of non-stop news. Well, that was a fun train of thought. Just realized that yesterday was the 6-month anniversary of my arrival here. I wonder if IKEA sells party hats. The routine around here has remained more or less the same. More new folk show up, one every couple of weeks or so. Food supplies go up and down, but we've never actually had a major shortage. Occasionally we had a visitor from one of the nearby towns, usually checkouts or aisle 630. We check in with each other from time to time, occasionally trade supplies if someone gets particularly low on something. It's comforting in a way, a reminder that we aren't alone in here. Some small glimmer of civilization. Sometimes they bring medical supplies. Apparently there's a pharmacy a few towns down from checkouts that gets restocked every now and then. So they share out what they can. I've never heard of an IKEA with a pharmacy before, but at this point it wouldn't surprise me if someone stumbled on an IKEA organ harvesting lab. Would certainly explain the staff. Speaking of the faceless jailers, their attacks have been getting worse lately, 3 or 4 times a week now. With twice as many staff as there used to be, no idea where they all come from or why the attacks have increased. We tried following one of them during the day a few weeks ago, me and Sarah. Wanted to see if they led back to the staff room or something. Didn't seem to go anywhere though, just randomly walked through the aisles. We had to turn back before we found anything. We've been reinforcing the walls, trying to arm ourselves better. Certainly no lack of materials to use. Usima's been making more crossbows, but it's pretty slow going. Too bad IKEA doesn't sell guns. Note: no new personnel have entered SCP-3008 at site redacted in the time span indicated in this entry. The attacks are getting bad now, almost every night, and with so many staff and the bodies almost pile high enough for others to climb over the walls. I think we're in real trouble here. I think exchange is done. We got hit pretty bad last night. Not many casualties, but the wall is wrecked. We finally figured out why the attacks have been escalating too. A box of supplies had a chunk of one of their staff in there. No idea how it happened, but apparently a piece of one will draw them just as well as a full body. Too late now, in any case. There's too many bodies for us to haul away and still have time to fix the wall before night. Candace has called a meeting. I suspect there will be talk of abandoning exchange, maybe try to get shelter at checkouts or something. It's already getting late though. I don't think we'll have time to make it. Maybe some of us will. I was fine for that first week out in the dark after all, but then how often can I keep getting lucky? I'm only writing this for a sense of closure, I guess. For me or for anyone who finds this. If this is the final entry here, I hope whoever is reading this is doing so from out. If I do die tonight, I could just wake up here again in the morning. Note: this is the last entry. It is assumed that while attempting to reach the checkout settlement, he was separated from the rest of his group by pursuing SCP-3008-2 instance and happened upon the exit. Okay. That's SCP-3008. One of my favorites. I'm gonna do a little bit of Destiny Kind of a keep the pace various, but I really like SCP-3008 because it's like it's just really interesting because it's literally like this whole thing of like it sounds like a joke. It starts out like a joke, then it gets and then they expand on it, and it sounds a little bit less like a joke and a little bit more like an interesting concept. Then they expand upon it a little more, just enough to be like, well, wait a minute, now there could be some legitimate theories going on. We could, like, what's this about it taking people from alternate dimensions? What's this about it like? What's this about it,
No time to rest.
What's this about it, like, what's up with the staff? Like, you get to ask a lot of questions while it's still being an entertaining and fun idea. Like, it's one of my favorites because it's creepy, it's cool, it's weird, and all at the same time without really stepping on its own toes. You know? Looks like I lost my viewers there. I'm gonna keep going, just gonna have some fun. But it definitely looks like people lost interest in the middle of reading that. Which, understandable. I am just reading while my character does nothing. No. What's over here on this side? That's okay. I finished reading SCP-3008, so I'm taking a tiny break to sort of keep my own energy and otherwise just keeping stuff up. I think I have to sneeze, but I'm not sure if it's actually gonna go. But welcome back, Nep. I'm trying. I'm relaxing a little bit. There's a look at bright light to induce a sneeze. Haven't heard that one before. I believe you, but I genuinely haven't heard look at a bright light to induce a sneeze before. I get you. But yeah, I was talking about like SCP-3008 is one of my favorites. Because there's one of the things that SCPs tend to have are these things called exploration logs. Like there will either be interviews with the SCP or like exploration logs. And the exploration logs are basically like someone goes through and like thoroughly explores the SCP if it's like a location. Like if it's a location, there'll be like an exploration log. But the thing about the exploration log is that it doesn't have to be someone from the Foundation. It doesn't have to be someone from the SCP Foundation. It can be written by someone who doesn't have anything to do with the Foundation, but like the log was recovered by the Foundation somehow. So like this one has like a really good exploration log that like gets you to ask that gets you to really like interact with like it gets you to ask questions about the SCP, because it's a very weird SCP. Because it's an SCP that has a lot of questions that you could theoretically ask, but like not all the time, but not necessarily all the time, because like a gentle push is sometimes what people need to be able to ask these questions. But like once you start asking the questions, it's like, what's up with the staff? What's up with which came first, the IKEA or the Infinite? That is a legitimate question that you could ask. Which came first? And the ever-present question of like why are none of these, like, there are thousands of people inside this IKEA. Why are none of them, why wasn't there like a mass search party? Why does no one seem to be looking for them, you know? Like the only people who seem to be investigating the IKEA is the SCP Foundation. It asks like genuinely, like 100% honestly. It gets like, it's just such an interesting like SCP because of how it's told, and how it helps you to it actively like helps you to interact with it by having you think about like, hey, here's some question, like basically the narrator is saying like, hey, just so you know, here's some questions that you might find yourself asking about the SCP, and here's some additional information about it that a random dude was able to figure out. God, I'm such a bad shot. Okay. Shit. Good enough. Yeah, where are the janitors is another very good question. It's a really good SCP, and I know you probably missed like a fair amount of it, but yeah, I like SCP-3008. I'm gonna go through some. I'm still gonna take some rest, but I'm gonna look through some other ones that I have listed. 1281. What's 1281? Oh, I love this one. Okay. We've got a good one. We've got a good one coming up. But I'm gonna chill out for a sec, because I want to... Like, I want to do dramatic readings, but my voice is not built for that just yet. I don't have the voice stamina to be constantly talking for upwards of 15 minutes. Or longer. I'm drinking water. I'm still talking, obviously. But you know, I'm trying. Need the shotgun, actually. Hey, Absol. How's everyone doing today? I know this is kind of an off... This is an off-schedule stream, just kind of having some fun. But we're nearing the end of Spooky Month, which is kind of exciting. I don't understand what the what's up with like the seemingly unequal viewership counts, because it just said 6, now it says 6, but I don't know where the viewers are coming from, because definitely not very many. I'm sorry, Nep. I hope you get just so much uncontrollable sleep. Just sleep like the most absolute levels of sleep. Become a unit of sleep. A Nep nap will become an official measurement of how long someone has slept, and it'll be slightly above coma. What is that? Oh, it's just spooky. I hope, but genuinely, I hope things improve for you, Nep. I'm sorry that, like... I'm sorry that it's been bad. That is true. So you gotta do that sometimes. Oh, hi, Toland. Looks like someone wants to talk to you. It's not me, though. Fuck you, Toland. I hate you. Toland's a bitch. Can't wait for Toland to not be in Beyond Light. I hope everything goes smoothly and with as little pain as possible. And I hope soon that you can... Hey, Arcane! So as you can probably guess, the dramatic reading stream has been going great because I've read exactly one SCP article so far. And I'm currently taking a break for my voice's sake. You're out and about? I didn't know that, but I hope you have fun on your out and aboutness. I love you very much. And also, I will... That is a valid reason to step away. That is a very valid reason to step away. Have a good one. Hopefully I'll see you later. Bye. This circle's got bones in it. Can I get the circle boneless? Can I get a boneless circle? The fuck kind of circle? You've got bones in your circle. Two-liter machine broke. We got 1 liter though. I'm heading to a very specific location. And then I will do a dramatic reading again. I will do at least 2 SCP articles on this fine SCP day. Hey, fucker. Oh, don't worry, I will DPS the fuck out of you. Haha! Didn't even need to use the sword. Although the sniper rifle was much harder. So it wasn't actually worth it in the end. And I could have just whacked him with my sword. Because my sword still has ammo. Okay. clearing my throat was probably not the best choice, but I'm gonna have some water. SCP-1281. Object Class? Safe! Special Containment Procedures. The remains of SCP-1281 are kept at Outpost 12009. Monitoring equipment will be installed around and within the entity in case it should ever become active again. Any proposals for study that might damage SCP-1281 must be routed through command. Description: SCP-1281 is a biomechanical entity found in the Kuiper Belt during standard containment of SCP-2362. SCP-1281 is roughly teardrop-shaped, with a flattened section designated as the bottom of the entity. It measures 12 meters around end to end, and is 11 meters in circumference at its widest point. Opposite, there is a significant bulge, which is believed to store the majority of SCP-1281's analysis equipment. There are several dish-shaped structures on SCP-1281's surface that are presumed to be receivers for various forms of electromagnetic radiation, as well as lozenge-shaped capsules of unknown purpose. Several areas of it on its surface are broken, suggesting more appendages were once present. Biological components appear to have been grown over a mechanical frame, evidently designed to live in deep space. When observed, the entity seemed to have difficulty coping with temperatures much warmer than the Kuiper Belt. Its surface temperature was 50 Kelvin when first found. SCP-1281 was apparently once capable of interstellar travel, but most of its systems were damaged by an unknown event that left it stranded. Dating methods suggest it to have been at least 1.3 billion years old, though much of that time was spent dormant. The entity was almost entirely dormant when it was found. The only signs that it was active were faint lights running along its surface. Observation and experimentations showed that these were in response to radio waves. It had apparently been collecting signals from time to time, but no sign of other functions could be detected until Foundation assets approached, at which point it began broadcasting. It was able to break Foundation decryption in less than 1 hour, at which point it began broadcasting binary signals in an attempt to communicate, starting with extremely simple mathematical concepts. However, a report was transmitted back to Earth. It stopped broadcasting for several days. The temperature of its dorsal bulge heated to 5 Kelvin during this time, apparently from processing the information. Interview log SCP-1281-1. SCP-1281 shut down for approximately 4 hours. Temperature around... Interview log SCP-1281-1. SCP-1281. Hurt. Dr. Bloom. Can you hear me? SCP-1281. Who? Dr. Bloom. We are the SCP Foundation. We are... SCP-1281. What? Masters. No. Dr. Bloom. No, we call ourselves humans. SCP-1281. Harbinger must... Message. Harbinger must... SCP-1281 shut down for approximately 4 hours. The temperature around SCP-1281's dorsal bulge heated up significantly, up to 60 Kelvin. The Foundation team went into standby in the event that SCP-1281 became hostile, while a message was transmitted back to Earth asking for further instructions. The O5 Council advised caution but instructed Dr. Bloom to continue attempts to communicate with an eye to bringing SCP-1281 into a containment solution. Interview log SCP-1281-2. SCP-1281. Where is Harbinger? Dr. Bloom. In the outer reaches of this solar system, beyond the planets. SCP-1281. What star? Dr. Bloom. We call it Sol. SCP-1281. How long? Dr. Bloom. You've been in space for about 6 revolutions around the galaxy. SCP-1281. Are you masters? Dr. Bloom. No. SCP-1281. Message. Harbinger must tell. Mission. Harbinger must. SCP-1281 shut down for 7 hours this time. The heat was more severe, up to 70 Kelvin, and it seemed to cause more damage to the biological components of the entity. O5 Council advised against deception as it could complicate long-term containment solutions, and because the odds of the species that created SCP-1281 still being both able and willing to initiate hostilities were deemed low. SCP-1281-3 Interview Log. SCP-1281. I am not home. I am far from home. It is long. Where is home? I cannot see it. Dr. Bloom. I'm afraid I don't know. The stars must have looked very different back then. SCP-1281. I was told I must perform my function. I must complete the mission. But I broke. So long ago. Stasis. Wait for further instructions. Wait for rescue. Is this rescue? Dr. Bloom. What is your mission? SCP-1281. Are you masters? Dr. Bloom. No. We are humans. SCP-1281. My mission. You are not the masters. I must... Message. The message must be sent. SCP-1281 shut down for slightly over 10 hours. The surface of its dorsal hunt reached 85 Kelvin to the detriment of its organic tissues. Interview Log. SCP-1281-4. This is Harbinger. It brings good tidings. We will be dead when it reaches you. Our planet is dying. We do not have time to save ourselves. We only have time to ready ourselves and to send a message. We have seen the signals from those who came before us. They were different, and we still don't really understand them. But if there were those who came before, there may be those who come after. It is in this hope that our harbingers travel. One has found you and learned your language so it can relay this message. Please listen. The galaxy is dark and empty and cold. It spins inevitable toward death. You will die too, one day. Perhaps you will have longer than we have. We hope so. But one day you too must vanish. Before that time comes, you must light the darkness. You must make the night less empty. We are all small, and the universe is vast. But a universe with voices saying, I am here, is far greater than a universe silent. One voice is small, but the difference between 0 and 1 is a great 1 and it is as great as 1 in infinity. We waited too long. Our voice is gone to echoes. Find others while there is still time. Make a chorus. And if it finds you too late, and your time is also passing, please send this message on, so the next voice can speak against the darkness. SCP-1281 went inactive for 15 minutes before its final communication. Interview Log. SCP-1281-5. Is it done? Dr. Bloom. What was the message? That was the message? SCP-1281. Yes. Was it a good message? Dr. Bloom. You don't know? But you just translated it for us. SCP-1281. I was made with the words, but I don't know what they mean. Dr. Bloom. It was a very good message. SCP-1281. Good. Mission was important. Knew it. Getting tired. Almost done. Dr. Bloom. Done? SCP-1281. Mission is done. Brain too hot. Cooling broken. Harbinger, are you... Master? Yes? Did I do well? Yes, Harbinger. Well done. Then I am well. SCP-1281 systems appeared to shut down entirely. As it radiated heat, its temperature dropped back down to 50 Kelvin. It was brought to Outpost 12009 for study. Over the next several months, its tissues began to decay and no further activity has been detected. Note: Dr. Bloom was reprimanded for emotional involvement interfering with the containment of an anomalous object and was placed on administrative leave. Lol. That's another good one. That's another good one. I got confused because I thought it was a different one, but that was a good one. It was also way shorter. Okay, what's 3309? I'm gonna find the next one I'm gonna do. Nope. SCP-5270, maybe? Is that it? 5270. Nope. SCP-1802? Which one is it? I don't know which one it is. Nope. Also incorrect. 505? No, 505 isn't it. Actually, you know what? Hold on. You know what? I'm gonna read this one next. But I'm gonna stop for a little bit. Gonna take a break. Gonna do more video games. That SCP is a good one. I like that one too. Cause like it's not a threat, it's not a dangerous thing, but it's a good it's like a good message. It's just an emotional SCP that tugs a little bit at your heartstrings and says something good. You know? You don't always get that with SCPs and stuff, so it's nice. What are the strike modifiers today? Ooh, Grenadier, that's fun. Hold on. Magnitude, gaining an additional grenade. Increases the... After sprinting for a short time. Seismic strike, yada yada. Damaging enemies with seismic strike recharges your grenade. Let's do that one. Put on the mask and... Might as well. I should keep my phone close by just in case my family texts me something. BRB while the strike is loading in and whatnot. Yeah, nothing important yet. That's a plus. What's my battery life at? It's fine. One of my favorite things about SCP is that it has the potential to be both scary but also very surprisingly wholesome, you know? And it's a very unique skill.
Thanks for moving that tank out of the way. Head for that solar fuel cell. Okay, I didn't mean for you to pick it up, but we'll work with this.
Is this what be brave means for you Guardians? Didn't know it was a prayer.
True Guardian grabs the danger and walks around with it.
I need a different...
And we didn't blow up.
Yeah, not blowing up is as good as you can hope for sometimes.
Way to reach for the stars.
Haha.
Still haven't been able to track down Zahn. Cabal usually like to be found.
This guy's no ordinary space rhino. His weapons ain't half bad either.
Those weapons have snuffed out too many good people.
Oh, don't get me wrong. He'll still deserve whatever this fire team gives him. They always do.
Well, this looks familiar.
Yeah, funny story about the Oroban.
Cabal and their weird ship names. I think it was the Orobas Victura.
Yeah, that one. Zahn moved in after you put Thumos out to pasture. He's in there somewhere.
Back into the ship we go. We're coming for you, Zahn.
He's got a lot to answer for. Be thorough.
Well, it wouldn't be a Red Legion base without another indoor tank.
I am a bad shot. Also, I died. Don't ever let me say that I'm good at Destiny. Don't ever let me say it. 'Cause I'm not.
Hawthorne, you're not going to believe this.
Wait. Let me guess. Giant flamethrower.
No, but thanks for that image.
No, I fell. Someone's using anarchy. And it sucks. I want anarchy so bad. You're great. So yes, you would be anarchy.
We found Zahn.
Don't let him escape.
Wow. That was a surprisingly high amount of fall expecting. Oh god. Thank you. Ouch.
Now we've got you, Zahn. In a place you know way better than us. But that won't stop us. Let's get him.
Grab him, grab him, grab him.
Take that, Zahn. Yeah.
Sounds like I returned at just the right time. Excellent work, fire team.
Thanks, boss. It was by the book. The whole way.
Does this say flame turret?
Don't forget about the signal flares.
Just gonna do a couple strikes and then we'll hop into a different, and then we'll continue with dramatic reading. I have one picked out already. It'll be a long one. And I'm getting into my second water bottle. Keeping my throat existing. Also have my phone next to me just in case family wants me to do something. But I did all the things, I think. Hey, Absol. I think you're probably the only one here. I'm not sure. People have probably it seems like people have stepped away. And first of all, I want to thank you. Because you're cool. But also, like in chat, you're like the only one in chat, basically. But hey, I want to thank you. But also, I want to give you a sneak peek of something I'm gonna stream in the summer. Something I'm planning to stream when summer comes around. It's got something to do with pirates, and a lot to do with a really shitty gaming company. So if that vaguely tells you what I might be doing, this character does not have a lot of healing. It's not Blizzard, no. It's a different shitty gaming company. I know there's a lot, so it can be tough. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
We're heading inside now.
Good. Descend to the heart of the temple.
Yeah, that
You're
one.
looking for one of the Queen's Techians. Tech witches, you Guardians call them. Her name is Sadia. She was taken, but she can be saved. Her will is not her own. Grant her the mercy that she cannot grant you.
No, not that one. I'm not doing AC. I'm considering that they have continued to be a really shitty company. I don't want to give them money, so I'm not doing AC Valhalla. It's a different one. Something to do with pirates. Welcome back, Nep.
Elevator.
It's Black Flag. I'm doing Black Flag. I'm planning on doing that on Friday, in the summer. Oh my god, why? Just throw it. I'm gonna die because my team sucks.
Watch out.
Yeah. Because based on vague memory, I like that game. Despite it being an Assassin's Creed. You do not need to apologize at all, Nep. I completely understand. Work can be hell, and we're in the middle of quarantine, so it can only. So like, I totally get it. You can do whatever you need to get by. This is also like an off-schedule stream. I just really wanted to fulfill my promise of a dramatic reading, of an SCP dramatic reading stream, and I was finally able to do that. A little bit. I'm like multitasking a tiny bit here. But yeah, you're super valid, Nep. I love you. Shit. I'm also dead. Yeah, 4 is alright, but like part of why I want to do it is because I have an actual like history book on the Republic of Piracy.
Let's try that teleporter.
The Republic of Pirates. And I wanna like talk about that. And I wanna read it before the summer. You're not wrong, Nep. That is my favorite thing to do in Assassin's Creed. Not even joking, that's like my favorite thing to do in Assassin's Creed 4. Good luck with dogs, Absol. I'm not doing great in this strike. I've been dying. I've not been the Poggers I've not been a pretty Poggers Titan. To be fair, I'm playing this in a way that I don't typically play this game, period. Like if I'm playing Striker, I typically have have Skullfort on instead of what I'm using. Whatever, it's finally dead at least. Oh, I don't want to endanger I don't want to endanger my crew by having them fight on this man of war, which could deeply hurt my crew and could leave me kind of disadvantaged. Whatever will I do? Oh wait, I can just kill them all myself cuz I'm a one-man army. And like, okay, so Ubisoft has a big problem with this, but like, I used to have a lot of fun with Ubisoft games and with like stuff along the lines of Assassin's Creed, because there's kind of a very fine line for me where like busy work clearing, like map clearing stuff is okay, but at the same time like isn't. But like, if it's a very fine line, and like very recently I've reached my limit when it comes to like other games and like not wanting to. Like I have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and that's a game that I don't want to 100% ever because there's just kind of too much going on. Like when my quest list is like 50 quests long and I don't know... When my quest list is 50 quests long and I'm not sure which one is an actual story mission, which one's a side quest, and which one will get me like... is literally just a fetch quest that'll give me a currency that I'm not going to use.
Remember, we're here to save her.
I'm saying Assassin's Creed Odyssey is bad, by the way. Because at the very least, it's also not good. That's the thing, is there are subsections. There are subsections in Odyssey, but there's too many. Literally, the game is too big, and they couldn't figure out what they could cut, and then they added more. I do like having tasks. I like having...
Eyes up.
Like, it's... I don't know. Like, there's something about... There's something about, like, Assassin's Creed Odyssey that turns me off of busy work, which is literally all of the kinds of games I've been playing for ages. Like all the other Assassin's Creed games are also busy work, but something about Odyssey makes me not like it. It's so weird.
She's escaping.
Yeah, I get you. I don't know. I'd have to go back to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but like at the same time, I don't ever feel like doing that. But yeah, I totally get, like, that's the thing about Animal Crossing, is it's all tasks, but you need a variety of tasks, right? Cause like, if the villagers are gonna ask you to do something, make it seem less like a fetch quest. Make it seem like it's a living world where they need different things outside of like... Oh, sweet Christ. Victory.
I have seen our enemy.
Almost done with arc kills, done with taking bosses. One more strike. I need to be able to ask them to give me tasks so I can stay engaged rather than just waiting for them to ask randomly for the same thing I've done 1,000 times. Yeah, exactly. Like that's like kind of an integral part of the villager's character, because you're like, you're showing that you care for them. Like you're not waiting for them to ask you for something. You're going out and being a like an active benefit to the community, being like, hey, I care for you guys. What do you want me to do, sort of thing, right? I've literally never played an Animal Crossing, but I feel like that sums up the general concept, doesn't it? What does this fucking look like? Oh my. Oh, this is very, Oh, this is something, huh? No, don't make me do this. Don't make me do this strike again. Why is this vehicle shaped like a grasshopper? The one that I'm in, or the one... The Sparrow, or this one? The ship. Also, they're making me do the exact same strike again. Okay, sure, why not? I guess we're doing this. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't look good. That's why I wasn't using it. That's a uh-oh.jpg. I'm in danger. Oh man, I'm sorry, Absol. That sucks. That actively sucks. I hate this boss. I hate that it's making me do this a second time in a row. Like, that should not be a thing. You know? Like you shouldn't end up having to do the same fight twice.
Who are you? What has happened?
One kill. One arc kill in a strike. Haha! One! One! Haha! One! Uno. Well, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I'm doing. I just don't. This is what I do because ending up in a fire team where I have to kill one dude sucks. And if I had done, literally, if they had given me like one extra enemy, if I had spawned in that strike like a minute earlier, or like if I had done a completely different strike, it would have been fine. Honey, you got a big storm coming.
Captain, a crew of Fallen tripped one of my proximity alarms. They have crossed into the Exodus Black secondary crash site where I am blind. Will you help me find them? I can feel them in my bones.
Excuse me?
I did it.
Gross. Sounds like a search and destroy machine.
If you'll help, I've uploaded coordinates to your tracker. Their weapons left.
Because I don't like repetitiveness. Genuinely, I will do strikes if they're on a playlist more often than just more. Like they're better for me there than they are just doing a repeat strike. Arc energy flows from the target to target with devastating effect. Channel it as you flow from stronghold to stronghold. Whether we wanted to or not, we stepped into a war with the Cabal on Mars. Okay. SCP-5005. By order of the O5 Council, the following file is level 4. Is level 4 classified. Unauthorized access is forbidden. Item number SCP-5005. Object class Euclid. Pictured: one of SCP-5005's burning lamps in the Ethereum district, similar in effect to sodium lamps, but based on thaumaturgy rather than mainstream technology. Special containment procedures. Diplomatic relations with SCP-5005 have been established under the terms of the Sarai Treaty. A permanent researcher is to be stationed on SCP-5005 at all times, whose presence can only be allowed or rescinded by the agreement of the project lead and 2 Foundation psychologists. The other Foundation personnel are permitted conditional research access to SCP-5005 with the approval of their supervisor. Access is gained via a Scranton Meyerbeer arc from Site Q46, located in the Adzane universe on the far side of the Western Cluster. Contact your extra-universal contact for more information. Personnel are reminded that prolonged stay in SCP-5005 may be severely emotionally taxing and are encouraged to consider their own mental health before entering.
Checking.
Description. One moment.
Transfer. All done.
Perhaps a barter is warranted. Even with the most difficult science.
We have a call.
Yes. Transfer. All done.
Hold on, I should change my subclass.
Task list updated.
There we go.
I know I was in the middle of doing an SCP reading. I'll continue it in just a moment.
Go ahead. Throw some darkness in here. Don't worry. It's safe. I think.
Okay. Description. SCP-5005 is a human settlement located 3,449 Waylons to the multiversal east of the central reality compass, and 87 Waylons beyond where matter is ordinarily capable of permanently existing. Consequently, it is the most remote settlement created by a sentient creature and the most remote matter in existence. SCP-5005 is constructed on an expanse of an Earth-like substance, which acts as a fertile soil. The extent of this expanse is unknown, as it is impossible to engage in long-term exploration beyond the limits of SCP-5005-1's light range. SCP-5005-1 is a large biomechanical lantern suspended over SCP-5005. SCP-5005-1's light possesses a degree of reality stabilization far in excess of any other known examples, allowing for the permanent existence of matter within its light range. However, SCP-5005's capacity as a light source is limited and temperamental. Due to its size and distance from SCP-5005, its lux illumination is relatively low in the settlement. It is frequently described as being similar to the light of a full moon on Earth. SCP-5005-1 is suspended above SCP-5005 by a large protruding tendril, which emerges from the expanse and forms an arc above SCP-5005. The tendril is believed to be constructed from an artificially hardened and strengthened form of the expanse substance. The composition of the expanse substance is unknown. Various scholars have proposed a link to Sriskin holochrome, which possesses a similarly unusual molecular structure. However, the archaeological record of Sriska is very limited, and no currently known Sriskin technologies could create something on the scale of the expanse substance. The residents of SCP-5005 refer to the substance as Mahi Lom, a word which has no known connection to any of the cultures on SCP-5005 and is of unknown provenance. Further investigation is required. The following is an assessment of other anecdotal evidence and theories concerning SCP-5005's surroundings by Dr. Hamish Franklin, project lead on SCP-5005. Although the historical documentation surrounding SCP-5005's founding and history is relatively extensive, any scientific understanding of the town's surroundings or its light source remains beyond our capabilities. It is clear from the mechanical elements within SCP-5005-1 that it is a synthetic creation of an unknown civilization, but there is nothing we can find that is remotely similar to it. There are some similarities to Sriskin technologies within the substance of the expanse, but that kind of molecular structure has its forebears in any number of universes in that cluster and beyond. Adzane, Harkret, and Karak. What all of them lack is anything even slightly as advanced as SCP-5005-1, which can create almost Earth-like conditions in the midst of unreality. Any number of theories have come forward. A research experiment of the Old Empire, a Neo-Austrian birthing ground, an Adzanian horse culling center. One biologist even thought it could be the remains of a Harkret pioneer's anglerfish.
Another dawn. To truly
These ideas are innovative, but remain, at best, only mere speculation. Not even the populace can provide any clues. Whatever ancient people made it must be long dead now. We cannot send Foundation personnel beyond the city limits. Beyond the city limits, of course, far too dangerous, and most anecdotes from the town's explorers simply speak of more and more dark, and that gradual unsettling feeling that they'd been away from the light for too long. Would-be pioneers have either been driven back swiftly or have disappeared. Only one anecdote has been preserved that holds any interest for us. Roughly a century ago, a particularly daring or drunken poet decided to pick a direction and head that way as long as possible. He was just about suicidal enough to stick it with it longer than most others, but not so determined that he didn't eventually turn back. Out there, many miles away, he happened to glance at his hand and saw it begin to unravel. In a panic, he started across the landscape and saw a brief glint on the horizon. Thinking it was home, he headed fast towards it, but after crossing a prominent ridge, he found that he'd been going in the wrong direction entirely. Before him lay a glassy orb of immense proportions, the color of milk embedded into the earth, and a faint light shone beneath its surface. By some miracle he managed to get home. There wasn't much of him left, and he didn't take long before he expired. But his half-mad, lunatic story, he screamed out, has stuck in the town's lore. For most of the townsfolk, it remains a cautionary tale for those who might consider stepping beyond the light's edge. The following are a series of introductory essays on aspects of SCP-5005 by academics and Foundation personnel in the Soul and Orchard universes who have studied the anomaly. These have been supplemented by Foundation logs that provide examples of the phenomena discussed. History by Dr. Johannes Kobold, Level 3 Foundation Historian. SCP-5005 was founded by John Antoine Delacroix, a noted poet from the Orchard universe and former dragoman of the Kievan Republic. Delacroix discovered SCP-5005's location following the dissolution of his relationship with the Strathclyde painter Emily Wolfe, leaving him in a state of extreme depression. He attempted suicide via arc blinking, launching himself in a random direction in the hope of expiring in non-matter surrounding the universe. Instead, Delacroix arrived close to SCP-5005-1. Deeply curious about the location, he blinked himself home to embark on a series of explorations of the site. He founded SCP-5005 in 2107 and gave it the name Lamplight, which remains its common name to this day. Delacroix's stated intention in founding the settlement was to create a place that could provide a home to the damned, the dispossessed, the refugee, and the lost. However, the initial inhabitants were almost entirely artists, writers, and intellectuals from the Orchard universe, quickly ending Delacroix's utopian hopes for the town. He again fell into depression and disappeared in 2110. Subsequent immigration to SCP-5005 has followed a similar pattern, with the majority of the town's population belonging to academic or artistic professions. Most other inhabitants are the survivors of descendants of two major influxes of refugees who took up residence in SCP-5005, a group of survivors of the Neon London of 2396, and the remnants of the tribes of the Many Steps in 2419. The nature of time in SCP-5005's non-matter surroundings means that human aging varies greatly from person to person. Consequently, while some visitors have undergone the span of a full human life in a single 24-hour cycle, others have shown no visible signs of aging across many centuries. This allows for an impressive range of sources for SCP-5005's history. For example, an example of this can be found in the following interview with Sergei Osmanoglu, the owner of the Dragoman Tavern, who emigrated to SCP-5005 in 2109. Interviewer, Junior Researcher Sofia Ramirez. Location, Dragoman Tavern. Date, 29/11 25:24. Begin log. Ramirez is sitting in the main room of the tavern at a table by a window. She has just switched on a recording device and placed it in front of her. A tall, burly man with a thick beard, Osmanaglu, is sitting opposite of her. Snow can be seen passing by the window. There is a lit fireplace behind Osmanaglu. Thank you for agreeing to this interview, Sergei. Is not a problem. I've got time. You pay the rent promptly. Okay. When did you first arrive in Lamplight? 2109, I think. It was a long time ago. What was the town like then? Small, cold, fewer buildings, fewer lamps, less snow. Yes, I wanted to ask about that. How was there? But it was better back then. Delacroix was there. People said he'd founded the place, but I couldn't understand how they could think that. What do you mean? He didn't have energy, no spark. He'd spent all his time staring out there into the dark. Osmanaglu gestures towards the window. The darkness of the non-matter is visible outside. This place wasn't meant for us. You can't know that for sure. The soil here is so perfectly suited to supporting human life. You don't make a place for people with that thing suspended over it. You'd build a sun or stars, not a pallid half-moon. There are no places for humans this far out. Other civilizations got close. Sriska, Harkrit. They weren't humans. Wrong cluster. And if they didn't make this place, and I doubt it, then they are long gone now. Nothing but their dust and their lamp left over. So what did Delacroix do? Osmanaglu is silent for a long time. He had the girl. It went sour. So he came here to start something new, something great. But the only ones entranced by his mad designs were the same old crowd of poets, all talking about the great utopia they'd built here. Another society of true freedom to escape the horrors of the dozen others they'd made. But they didn't want to do the hard graft or come down from their bohemian bubbles, so it was all talk, shooting shit in taverns like this one. I'm the only one left now. Delacroix, though, he was smart. He could see this. First time I saw him, he'd been here 2 years, and the absinthe had reached his eyes. He saw that all he'd done was make more meaningless ego, but I think a part of him loved the misery he felt. Wrote his best poems here, everyone says so, about the dark as a mirror and about other stuff. You read him? No, not yet, no. Hard to get a copy in Seoul. You're the next universe over. Should be easy. On Orchard you can find him anywhere. Not so much here. People don't like to remember him here. Why not? Because he talked truths the poets don't want to hear. Or because we all know what happened to him. Oh, there are those who say he went back to Orchard, but any true lamplighter knows that he stepped into the night. The night does not give such easy answers, he used to say. I would just pat him on the shoulder and tell him it was okay, and He was not a well man, Sophia. He wanted to destroy himself, and we don't like to talk about that. Suicide, right? Osman... No, more than that. I don't think he wanted to die, to end. He wanted to annihilate the idea of himself. He'd come here and he'd order absinthe over and over and over again, starting at the snow and trying to make out shapes. And then one day he was gone. I see. You should go home, Sophia. Go back to your soul, to your foundation. This is not a place for well people. Then why are you here? Someone has to care for the sick. I saw you watching Castamonu from your window. I don't know what... Tall man, wore a greatcoat. You saw him, didn't you? walking down the cobbled streets. He was a playwright from Devastan. Smoked those pipes, wrote with trembling hands under the gas lamps. I put the fire on to keep it warm, but he hasn't been back 4 days. Just walked into the smog, 1 foot beating a tardy march, withdrawing with the other as a faintly whistling silhouette. You saw him and said nothing. I think you are like him, in a way. That'll be all for now. Two, Structure and Society by Dr. Harry Grant, lecturer at Eastern Multiverse Studies at King's College in London. SCP-5005 is, properly, a series of 5 small districts loosely gathered around a central plaza, the Wolf Square. 3 of these districts were created by the various artistic groups present in SCP-5005 across the centuries, and constantly reflecting their sensibilities. The other 2 are founded by refugee groups. The districts are the Kievan or Victorian district, as the original core of the city, founded by John Antoine Delacroix in 2109. The architectural style is reminiscent of the late Dnieprian style, though roughly analogous to a mixture of the Victorian Imperial Russian architecture of the Solar Universe, but with some oddities, such as a strict adherence to cobbled streets and the regular placement of gas lamps. The ardent romanticism of the city's founders has led the structure of this district being deliberately disorganized. It has frequently been admired for its many communal meeting places and frequent public concerts. The Ethereum district was created during the cyberpunk revival of the 2350s, a response to the horrors of the Burnt Apple War that caused severe destruction to the Orchard Universe's Earth. The cyberpunk revival was marked by deep cynicism and disillusionment with the contemporary politics, reflected in an architectural style deliberately modeled on post-industrial decay and internet-based subcultures. The district is thus highly architecturally varied and was renowned for its anarchist politics, which were credited as an urban and social regeneration across the settlement. Gotta take some water. Whew. The Giotto district was created by a group of Soul Universe artists who, in response to the Namibian crisis of the 2390s, wanted a radical return to pre-modernity as a response to the evils of the present. The group, vehemently opposed to all realism in art, created the district in a way to return to a world of starker light, constructing the buildings exclusively in Gothic and Romanesque church architecture and with an emphasis on stained glass light reflecting properties. The early days of this district were marked by an aesthetic, medieval morality, almost entirely absent today. The modern neighborhood is chiefly known for its biannual passion plays and wide range of communal and charitable activities. The neoclassical district was founded by refugees fleeing the neon London in early 25th century, characterized by the 18th century British architecture but augmented by a large number of green spaces. I got a text, hold on. It's a wrong number. Gotta keep an eye on it, though. The Neoclassical District. Green spaces, flowing curves, and the stated desire to create utopia. This district was rigorously planned as an ideal community of elites. Although this project has long been abandoned, the neighborhood has become a focal point of a great number of literary circles, with young artists frequently attending its salons and literary festivals, and many patrons settling in the district. The Nomad District was created by the surviving tribes of the Many Steppes. Most of the structures here are yurts and other nomadic tents utilized by the Salome Universe's Inner Asia analog. But at the center of the district is the Manichaean Temple, of particular architectural significance even beyond SCP-5005. This district is frequently engaged in housing refugees from across the multiverse, a cause that many of SCP-5005's residents involve themselves in. Despite many historical differences, conflicts and disagreements between these districts are now uncommon, with the populace of the whole freely mingling. Although each district has its own celebrations, there is one major festival celebrated by SCP-5005 by the populace as a whole, the Parade of Candles, or Chrismata, held once a year on a day roughly analogous to midwinter in the northern hemisphere of the Orchard Universe's Earth. A description of this festival by junior researcher Ramirez can be found below. Okay. So, SCP-5005 is much longer. Much longer. And I don't want to read all of it. But I hope, in some ways, that interested you, because 5005 is a genuinely interesting SCP. In summary, it's a multiverse SCP. It talks about the multiverse a lot. It is a very strange reality because it is a settlement at the very edge of possible existence. There's a lot to think about in it. There's a lot of interesting bits. It's a very long SCP article. You can find it at the SCP Wiki. In fact, one second. Let me just, here is a link to the full article. If you can find some of it summarized on YouTube. But that's also gonna be it for me today. I really just kind of wanted to do like a pretty basic stream. I wanted to honor my promise of like, hey, here's an SCP dramatic reading stream before Spooky Month ends. I guess I did that a little bit. It was gonna be a bit different, but I don't know. I did what I could. So I hope everyone has a really good day. I hope you all enjoy yourselves. Thank you for coming. I wish I could go for longer, but I just don't have the energy. But stick around, because I am going to raid somebody. What's up, Absol? What's up, Absol? Thank you for being here, Nep. Okay. Thank you. All right. Here we go!